The Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock recently used Taylor Swift as an example of the rising cost of living. She also made her kids pay for their own tickets. But what of the cost of living crisis when Swift tickets typically go for $300 plus? So let's just have a little look here at the Swiftonomics. Our business editor Ross Greenwood is with me. You're clearly a Swiftie, aren't you?
No, I'm not. You know I'm not. Anyway, so $300, it just goes to show, well, the people choose to spend their money on what they want to spend their money on. So the fact of the matter is, if there's a cost of living crisis, Laura, then where is it when people are going to queue up and basically would buy whatever price at whatever price?
Priorities, Ross, priorities. You go to Taylor Swift, don't worry about your mortgage.
Don't worry about your mortgage. Don't worry about your electricity bill. Make certain you get to the concert tonight. Here's the numbers, though, and it does say something about the power of a brilliant artist such as this. 620,000 tickets sold in Australia, a 7-show tour, 3 in Melbourne, 4 in Sydney. It'll generate around $35 million in revenue, of which Taylor Swift will probably end up earning about $5 million a show. So it's worth it for her to turn up as well. But the other thing also is it's the kick-on effect. So this is what places like Las Vegas know. If you get big shows in town, you get the kick-on effect for the hotels, for the whole town in terms of cabs and whatever it might be. Well, Australia gets that as well with these kinds of concerts. And this is the reason why it actually becomes a really significant economic item, and especially when people basically, as you point out, are prepared to basically forego other parts of their cost of living crisis to be able to afford these tickets.
Yeah, look, a lot of people watching us won't be a fan of Taylor Swift. There's an age gap here. She's quite divisive in many ways. She's even political. But when it comes down to raw dollars, she is on track to be the top grossing artist of all time.
She's a powerhouse, there's no doubt about that. And you cannot underestimate the brilliance of a person who's been able to use their skill as an artist to be able to basically cash it in this way. And you've got to work. You've got to be out there. You've got to be producing. So have a look at this. $1.383 billion last year in sales, royalties, merchandise, concert and movie tickets.
Wow.
That's coming out of Billboard. And she was easily knocked everybody over as the top grossing artist of all time. But then go and have a look at the next little one here. And that is in terms of concert tours. She is quite clearly and easily the top grossing tour of all time. So this tour is expected to be, the Eras tour is expected to be more than $1 billion US. And then compare that to Elton John at close on $1 billion. Ed Sheeran, $776 million. Harry Styles there, $617 million. But also appreciate that some of these, tours go on for 300 dates. 200 and 300 dates. So it's not as though it's just a walk in the park, you turn up and get the money. It is that you've actually got to work for it as well.
Yeah, and, do not underestimate the power of young girls in particular getting their parents to spend money on the bracelets, on the outfits, on the tickets, just to be like Taylor Swift. But, she's not going to every city. She's going to Sydney and Melbourne. So those states are also going to benefit from a big tourism boost, aren't they?
So and you know what the story is when these big events come through, be it a Grand Prix or be it a concert series, it's whether government is prepared to tip in to actually encourage that artist to come to their state. Coldplay was in Perth only recently, and effectively that was subsidised by the WA government. Now, the fact of the matter is, this is because of the knock-on effect that happens. But, say, for example, one of the biggest grossing artists in Australia in terms of concert series is Pink, who's in town right now and travelling around the country. Last time she was here in 2009, I think, well, it wasn't the last time, but the most famous time she was here in 2009, I think it was 52 dates she did, which is astonishing here in Australia. But I think if you think about it, you've got so many others turning up there. In the next little while, Matchbox 20 turns up, which would be worth going to have a look at. So there's so many other options for people around the country.
Ooh, it's starting to question your music choice, but anyway, well, I digress. And look at Pink, not even allowed into the Manly Skiff Club this time around.
Yes, exactly.
So cringy.
I saw that. That was pretty funny. They were going to send her out in the boat afterwards.
Oh, no. Oh, she's the most famous woman in the world. But anyway, sometimes people make weird decisions. Whatever. Anyway, anything else going on today?
I was going to say no, but there is a couple of things. I want to
Okay.
show you just two little quick graphics on the way through. Australia's two biggest insurers have reported profits today. IAG is the biggest. You can see its premiums are up by 12.5%, but the profit is down. That's because of costs and increasing claims, particularly in terms of natural disasters, but their dividend is up. So they are starting to recover from the floods and some of the other events we've seen in the last little while. The other big one is QBE. QBE reports its profits in US dollars. And so here you can see its premiums are up, the net profit has recovered, and that largely is because it's not getting the same number of claims as it had previously, and also that they're making money out of the investment markets, and that dividend has been basically, not quite doubled, but almost doubled from where it was this time last year.